Diabetes awareness is important because it affects so many people in the world. According to the American Diabetes Association, 1.5 million Americans are diagnosed with diabetes each year. According to the CDC, 30.3 million US adults have diabetes, and 1 in 4 don't know they have it. And this is such a growing problem, and one of the reasons is because of lack of knowledge on the subject. Educating ourselves about diabetes will help us reduce our risk or help a loved one deal with the diagnosis. I take this subject very seriously because I come from a family strongly affected by diabetes, and I lost my grandmother due to diabetes-related complications. So first, I'm going to talk about what diabetes is. Second, I'm going to talk about the different complications of diabetes. And third, I'm going to talk about ways to prevent it, or if you are diagnosed, kind of, help keep it in control. So what is diabetes? Diabetes is when your body is producing too much sugar. Your pancreas is what creates the insulin, and the insulin is sugar. And basically your body is making too much, it can't process it, and it starts to wreak havoc on your organs. And there are many complications of type 2 diabetes, such as high blood pressure, kidney disease, stroke, and vision loss. And it can even get to the point to where you can lose an extremity, you can lose a limb, because when you're diabetic, you have a harder time fighting off infections. So you could get any little tiny cut that can get infected, or just having your blood sugars too high and uncontrolled, that can also cause you to lose an extremity or your vision. When my grandmother was diabetic, she was extremely uncontrolled for a very long time, and it destroyed her kidneys. So she basically had to go to dialysis 2 times a week to have them filter out her kidneys through a machine. And that was hard because you don't have a very good quality of life. You're stuck in this building for hours at a time while they do what your kidneys are supposed to do naturally. And then the next day, it will take her the whole day to recuperate and to try and recover. And it just really takes a toll on your life. So now that I've talked about what diabetes is, let's talk about what causes it. The biggest enemy when it comes to diabetes, of course, is sugar and carbs. And it is important to know the difference between those good and bad carbs. Added sugars are one of the most common in processed foods, and good carbs come from legumes, natural foods such as fruits, vegetables, and bad sources would be those such as bread and alcohol. And what your body does with these is it takes these carbohydrates and it converts them into sugar. And so if you're diabetic and your body already can't process sugar naturally on its own, so if you're feeding it more and more of these sugars, then your body just builds it up, and that's what does, like I said earlier, the destruction on your body. So now that I've talked about what causes it, let's talk a little bit about prevention. Eating healthy and exercise are key to managing your diabetes and preventing it and reducing your risk overall. Whenever you go to the grocery store, you are going to want to read your food labels. Make sure what you're eating isn't full of carbohydrates and sugars. One can of soda can have anywhere from 34 grams of sugar, and that's a lot of sugar. You don't want to be ingesting that much sugar. And one of the good tips that I have for you is to avoid the inner lanes of the stores. I prefer to just shop the perimeter. That's where you're going to find your fruits and your vegetables, your meats, nothing processed, nothing frozen, and no sweets. Try and avoid those. And An extra tip to add a little bit of exercise in, because I know that is hard for people as well, you can park your car a little bit further and at the grocery store, at work, just park a parking lot over, maybe not a full parking lot, just another row, and work your way up from there. Take the stairs. It's just simple things like that that are going to get you through, get you into a new routine, get a little bit of extra exercise in. So today I talked about what diabetes is, the complications of it, and how you can prevent it. I recommend that you take some of these tips and ideas and try and see if you can keep yourself from going down this dangerous path and take care of yourself or a loved one if you have or know of anybody with diabetes.